So in this video, I want to talk about something that is probably going to be very useful for you, and it's what I call instructional checkpoints. Instructional checkpoints refer to the the points at which you have to check your understanding of a particular topic. And this applies to anything that you want to learn and implement. So, if it's just information or just the facts that you want to learn, then you can go on Wikipedia and you can learn those facts. And being aware of those facts will help you, hopefully, to quickly understand, the topic whenever people talk about it. But instructional checkpoints is more about when you want to, when you have to make a decision. Like for example, these days people have to decide whether they will invest in Bitcoin or whether they will not invest in Bitcoin. And it has to be a conscious choice, one way or the other. So, but before you can decide whether or not to invest or refuse to invest in Bitcoin, you have to understand certain things. And because Bitcoin is a very technical topic, what I did was I created this idea of instructional checkpoints. So you have to check at certain points if you understand, the point being made and whether you agree with it. If you disagree at a certain point, then it's basically game over and you don't have to continue because you don't really believe the chain of argument. So for example, the first checkpoint when it comes to Bitcoin is, do you believe that there's inflation? In other words, do you believe that the Federal Reserve, by printing more money, it's going to reduce your purchasing power significantly? If you believe that the inflation is not a problem, right, and you believe in the CPI method, Consumer Price Index, for measuring inflation, and you think inflation is fine, you think that it's normal business, it's something that has to happen, then you don't really have to continue to read up on Bitcoin. But if you believe, like Robert Breedlove and other people, Jeff Booth, that inflation is a problem and over time you're losing your purchasing power, then you can proceed to the next checkpoint, which is number two. Do you have money to invest? Okay, if you don't have money to invest and you're living, paycheck to paycheck, then you can abandon it right there. You can stop reading about Bitcoin because it's not relevant. You just don't have the money to invest, even if you wanted to. And then the third checkpoint, assuming that you pass the first two checkpoints, is you got to ask yourself, I have money to invest? I believe that there's inflation. So now the question is, do you want to invest in gold, real estate, stock market, or Bitcoin? So you have these four viable options. So you have to compare gold, the performance of gold, with the performance of Bitcoin. Now, it's not just the performance, it's also the reliability, right? Because gold has like 5,000 years of history, Bitcoin has 12 years. So you have to take that into account. The fact that Bitcoin has outperformed gold doesn't mean that it's going to continue to outperform gold or that it's going to continue to exist, right? So that's a different matter. But let's say you believe that gold is the way to go and you put all your money in gold and you don't have any more money left for Bitcoin, or you put all your money into real estate and gold and stocks or any combination of these three, and you don't have any more money for Bitcoin, that's fine. Then you should stop reading about Bitcoin. But even if you've invested in gold, real estate, and stocks or not, but if you have some money left, let's say 10,000, and you want to hedge your bets, then you want to move on to the next checkpoint where you're asking yourself, okay, I have $10,000 available. Should I invest it in Bitcoin? Because I've invested most of my money already into the other asset classes. Now you get to the next checkpoint where you have to study Bitcoin. You have to ask questions like, number one, is it hackable? And if you believe that it's not hackable, then you move on to the next one. Can the government ban it? If you believe that the government cannot or will not ban it, you move on to the next one, which is, can someone recreate another Bitcoin network? And then if you believe that the answer is no, then the only logical conclusion is that you have to invest that $10,000 or whatever amount you have into Bitcoin.